Thank you, John, and welcome to the first of our election programmes here in the West. Today we've come to sunny Swindon, to the outlet shopping centre in the former railway works. Once thousands came here to make steam trains for the world, now thousands come here to buy things made in other parts of the world. Today, as the nation goes shopping for a new government, we'll be meeting 3 candidates from across Wiltshire. Which one will entice you? Many challenges await these successful candidates. They have just 25 days left to campaign, charm and convince the county of Wiltshire. Let's take a look at who they are.
This general election is about some really important issues for local people. Protecting jobs, preserving Sure Start and supporting our schools. But it's also vital that the people of Wiltshire, the ordinary people of Wiltshire, have a strong voice in Parliament. Somebody who will stand up for them and provide support to those people who need the support the most. That's what we can offer.
I've lived in rural Wiltshire for almost 10 years and I've seen firsthand the damage this government's done to our rural services and our way of life. And that's why I want to be the MP for this area, so I can start putting our interests right at the heart of the next government's agenda. And I also want a Conservative government because I think we will have the energy, the ideas and the values to sort out this mess and get this country moving again, not 5 more years of Gordon Brown's economic vandalism.
This place is my home. I've been a school governor in this part of Wiltshire for the last 8 years. Only the Liberal Democrats will invest an extra £11 million each year into Wiltshire's schools. Outside of Swindon, all of Wiltshire's MPs have been Conservatives for the last 80 years. Round here, only a Liberal Democrat vote can change that. I'm giving up my business so that I can commit to being the full-time MP that our area needs.
Well, that's our panel, and here to question them are our wonderful audience who've travelled from all over the area to be with us today. So let's get on with our first question, and it's from Janet Giles from Swindon. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
What's your question?
Why has there not been maximum investment in manufacturing in Britain in order to maintain the British economy?
Is it something that worries you?
Yes, it is. There's a lot of talk about cuts and spending cuts, but there's no talk about investment and maintaining the British economy and ensuring that Britain has a voice in bringing money into the country. We can't keep cutting what we haven't got that isn't coming into the country.
OK, well, let's take a first question then about manufacturing. Let's begin with you. Why has Labour let manufacturing decline in this country?
I simply don't accept that, David. If you look at originally, decline in manufacturing clearly began in the 1980s. But what we're doing now is we recognise that as a country, our future won't be in making the cheapest widgets, for example, which can be mass-produced in factories in different parts of the world much more cheaply. So what we need to concentrate on is specialist high-tech industries. And to that end, during the recession, we've introduced tax breaks for research and development. £4.9 billion worth of tax breaks so that people can invest in new technologies, so we can grow our manufacturing industry in the right areas, because we can be leader in things like green technologies.
Okay.
And that's where our future of manufacturing will come from.
All right, well, Claire Perry, I mean, we're in what used to be a factory, now it's a shopping centre. In a way, it's a sort of metaphor, isn't it, for what has been going on in modern Britain. But that decline started under the Conservatives.
Well, I think that there is a sort of global move away from, you like, from the higher cost British economy. But I hate this top-down economic planning idea that we've just heard, that we can't make widgets here, we must make certain sorts of things. What we need to do, and which this government hasn't done, is get off the backs of businesses, let them invest and let them grow and let them decide where the prosperity comes from, not trying to manage it as an economy.
So no plan is better?
No, I think long term you want government to basically set some strategic objectives, but all this meddling around with tax breaks here and investments there, what you need to do is lower the overall cost of employing people and get the rubbish and the red tape and the bureaucracy off the backs of the businesses.
Do we want more manufacturing in this country, or in fact, is it right that we've moved into more of the service industries?
I think it's important that we should have more manufacturing.
You're an accountant, aren't you?
I am. For too long, governments have seemed almost embarrassed about that, and instead of being enchanted by the City of London, we need an economy for all 100 square miles of our country, not just the 1 square mile in the city.
And you know, we just had the Dyson report. I don't know if anyone had any spare time to read that, but Sir James Dyson wrote a report for us that basically said, you know, one of the saddest statistics is that 32% of teenage girls want to be models and only 4% want to be engineers. And we have lost a huge group of people with the engineering skills and the ability to actually get businesses growing again.
But one of the things that the Conservatives would scrap are the regional development agencies, and these have been vital in concentrating resources, energy, planning into different parts of the country and allowing businesses in certain areas to grow. Now that's all going to be swept away by the Conservatives, and I think it's quite clear from what Claire's saying. They're effectively saying, let's take away all government involvement, we won't provide the help, we won't provide the tax breaks that businesses need, and we get on with it.
Let's just take a few points from the audience. Anyone with points to make about manufacturing? Yes, sir.
You can't suddenly just say we want more manufacturing, and certainly the candidate for the Labour Party, when the last 13 years of investment has gone into growing the public sector. Today, 52% of the working population work in the public sector. So you can't just say overnight, we want more manufacturing.
OK, yes, so hang on a sec, we'll chat with the black shirt.
That's the latest statistic.
Unfortunately, what we are doing is we're actually losing the core skills from a lot of the older workers who because the modern day apprenticeships just aren't real apprenticeships. They're not actually getting their hands-on experience in the workplace. It's ironic that you do mention the Dyson report, because, of course, you know, he took his jobs from this country elsewhere. You know, so so it's amazing that you quote Dyson when in fact he did exactly that. He took jobs away from
OK, thank you very much. Let you come back on this. I mean, it's a bit of a late conversion on the day, isn't it, to talk about manufacturing after 13 years?
I think inevitably, after 13 years, I mean, this is a charge that gets levelled against us all of the time, and inevitably we've got a record that we support. We need to trade on our reputation, and I think that's right. But it's very disingenuous. Firstly, the figures about people working in the public sector, the Office for National Statistics makes it 21%. There's so many myths that are being peddled by the Conservatives about this enormous public sector. If you wandered around this shopping centre, the suggestion from the gentleman there is that 1 in 2 people work in the public sector. That's simply not true. We do have an enormous private sector, hugely successful private sector. In this part of the world, we have some fabulous specialist industries.
Can I just say, manufacturing investment in this recession is at the lowest it's ever been. Where this government has decimated our manufacturing industry, and I find it fascinating that the defence is, we've invested in regional development agencies. Regional development agencies are spending £1 billion signposting where help for manufacturing is. That is exactly this sort of statist, meddling thinking we need to get rid of. Get off the backs of businesses.
Did you ever say you were George Osborne's helper, helping?
Well, I was part of his team for a couple of... Get off the backs of businesses.
Did he fall in love with the city at the expense of manufacturing?
I think there's been one party that's fallen in love with the city, and that's the party that's been in power for 13 years.
So you're not interested in the city anymore?
We need a balanced economy, but let's not try and plan it. Are we in Soviet Russia? Do we have to sit there and say we need 300,000 engineers and 400,000 IT specialists?
There's a difference between support
ridiculous.
and just leaving people to fight on their own, and that's what we'll do.
Or we could keep pushing taxes up and up and up, so industry is forced to go offshore, which is exactly what this government would like to do.
Let's move on. You said, are we in Soviet Russia? We're not, in fact. We're in Swindon, if you've just joined.